Certain good evening. Hello, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, you
Yeah,
please.
I can.
Sergeant, is my slide is visible now?
Yes, sir. Your slide is visible.
Yeah, I may.
Yes, kindly uh, please mute yourselves. We'll be starting our session at sharp 6:30. I mean, so as per the designated time.
Yeah, sure. I'll keep it muted and video stopped. Whenever you start, I will,
Sure,
restart. No
sure.
problem.
So you'll be
But I'll,
presenting it.
yeah, I'll be presenting and I'll keep this slide presented so that
Sure.
whoever joins they can see this.
Thank you.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much.
Um, so yes, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to all our participants joining us from across India and the world. So we'll just wait for a couple of minutes as few more participants are joining in, and then we'll begin our today's exciting session. So, once again, a very warm welcome to each and everyone of you joining us today. So, I'm Dr. Kavya, Senior Fellow from Kalam Institute of Health Technology, and I'm delighted to open today's webinar, which is the ninth and the final webinar of KIHT Sport India webinar series, which is jointly led by the Kalam Institute of Health Technology in collaboration with Sport Tamil Nadu chapter, Swami Vivekananda College of Pharmacy. So, over the past several months, this collaborative series between KIHT and Indian chapters, ISPOR Indian chapters, has brought together the experts, researchers, and professionals from across the globe and all committed to the advancing of health economics and outcomes research. So, coming to Kalam Institute of Health Technology, which is also a WHO collaborating center for health innovation, aims to facilitate focused research on critical components pertaining to medical devices by supporting institutions involved in research and development, industry, policymakers, and knowledge repositories. So, this is achieved through the transfer of technical knowledge and bridging strategic and coherent synergy of scientific facilities and institutions to complement efforts on industrial promotion and the medical device segment. It lives to bring increased access to affordable healthcare products to citizens and thriving medical devices manufacturing sector in India. So at KIHT, we are constantly working to build stronger capacities in evidence-based research, health technology, and policy-relevant analytics. So we have with us today the Chief Operating Officer of KIHT, Dr. Kavita Kachru, who will be giving you a brief overview of the entire ecosystem of Kalam Institute of Health Technology, which is hosted in Andhra Pradesh MedTech Zone, Vishakhapatnam. Over to you, Dr. Kavita, ma'am.
So can you all see the PPT?
Yeah, we can see it's visible.
Okay. What happened to the video? Yes. So good evening, good morning, and welcome all the participants to this webinar. This is the last webinar as mentioned by Dr. Kavya. Let me just start a brief introduction of what Kalam Institute is. And I also welcome our last speaker for this year 2025. This is the last ISPOR webinar, which you know that we have been hosting the series of webinar for this entire year. Every month we were hosting webinars, and I was trying to build capacity and ignite the entire ecosystem on health economics and outcome research topic, and we were able to achieve a considerable progress in terms of capacity building in this arena. So let me just give you an overview, which I always do, what Kalam Institute is and what we are doing. As you all know, Kalam Institute of Health Technology has been set up in the name and honor of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, is one of its kind globally. It is a Government of India project supported by Department of Biotechnology and is also a WHO Collaborating Center for Health Innovation. It draws its credibility from the fact that Kalam Institute is itself housed in AMTZ, which is world's largest medical device research, development, and manufacturing cluster. Dr. Kalam once said innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. With this in mind, KST is leading the charge to transform healthcare innovation globally. As you can see, we have many departments in the Kalam Institute of Health Technology. Let me just give you an overview. We are a health technology assessment unit for Department of Health Research, Government of India. We are also a center for market research and trade, and this center works for Department of Commerce and other 12 ministries of Government of India. We are also a clinical research organization. We are a price monitoring resource unit under National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. We also have a Kalam Blood Center, We have an in-house journal, International Journal Health Technology Assessment. If anybody wants to publish any research, please send it to us. We will try to facilitate that research. We have a very elite editorial board for this journal as well. We also have IVD testing and testing center. This center was came into existence during COVID when there was very limited IVD testing kit facilities. We also have Kalam certification services. As you all know, certification services are needed in this entire healthcare ecosystem. So we have that also. Coming to our global collaboration, since this webinar series is the outcome of the partnership with the International Society for Pharmacoeconomics and Outcomes Research, ISPOR, which is now the Professional Society for Pharmacoeconomics and Outcomes Research. We are working with ISPOR by leading all the Indian chapters, and this is the last webinar series. We also have a partnership with John Briggs Institute, JBI. We are affiliated group to JBI. We do lots of evidence implementation projects and systematic reviews, and we publish it with JBI. We are also a University of Washington Strategic Analysis Research and Training START Centers unit. With this center is working with University of Washington. As everybody is aware, we do yearly 2 projects with them, and we co-host multiple events also. We're also partnered to Health Technology Assessment International, and we are a WHO collaborating center for health innovation, where we feed a lot of inputs goes directly from Kalam Institute to WHO. We're also an international association for prevention of blindness. We are partners to them because in-house we also have an assistive technology center. So this center also, promotes and it's like it bridges or it reduces blindness, because this organization works to reduce blindness in the whole world. Coming to ISPOR India activities, ISPOR has been supporting us immensely. I would express my gratitude to ISPOR US office for supporting us and being in touch with us, guiding us, connecting us to all the other ISPOR chapters, and facilitating these webinar series and other activities which we are doing with ISPOR. Coming to the work which we have been doing with this ISPOR for 2025 is that we're in a process, and although we are in final stages and finalization of updating pharmacoeconomic guidelines, we would be hosting a workshop where we are calling all the chapters and other dignitaries in this space, and we will be closing this revision of pharmacoeconomic guidelines. Then hosting of webinars, trainings, participation in World Health Innovation Forum. I'll come to that later. As you all can see, I'm really happy, and this was the work of entire year, which is closing with the last webinar of overcoming practical and economic challenges in pharmacoeconomics and outcomes research. And we have Dr. Mohammad Rashid, a wonderful speaker with us, who would take over once my presentation is over. Coming to the 11th International Fellowship on Health Technology Assessment, as you all know, we host this wonderful International Fellowship on Health Technology Assessment from 10th to 15 March. Yearly, this year we are hosting it from 10th to 15th in 2026. Our dignitaries and the speakers would be Dr. Anirban Basu from University of Washington, and Dr. Prakesh Shah from University of Toronto, and Dr. Anuj Mobile from University of Arizona. So I would encourage all of you to participate as much as you can in this wonderful International Fellowship in Health Technology Assessment. If you want to know more, it's not just a fellowship program. We will be training you on hands-on exercises so that you can independently do a health technology assessment post this fellowship. And we will also handhold, if anybody is interested, we can also handhold them and help you in closing the project or the topic which you decide during the fellowship, post fellowship as well. I already mentioned that we have a journal, International Journal of Health Technology and Innovation under us. You can Google this, and if you have any submissions, I would encourage you all to submit your papers in this, papers, research articles, whatever editorials, anything you can submit here. Coming to the end of my presentation, you can see Third World Health Innovation Forum. So Kalam Institute, in partnership with other organizations like AMT's and World Trade Center, even WHO, we are hosting a Third World Health Innovation Forum from 11 to 13 December, and I invite you all whosoever is there as the audience for this wonderful webinar. I invite you all to participate in this forum, because in this forum we would be joined by delegates, ambassadors, innovators, industry partners, students from more than 30 countries. At this point of time, also we have fellows working with us from 13 countries. They come here, they work with us for a fellowship of 6 months. They develop a product, they present their product prototype during World Health Innovation Forum, go back to their country and apply and translate that prototype in the form of a proper medical device. So with this, I'm closing my intro and overview of Kalam Institute, and I am full of gratitude that you all are here. Dr. Rashid, over to you, and thank you everyone for your patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for giving the overview of KIHT. Like now, moving on now, it gives me a pleasure to invite Dr. Subhashini, Professor and Head, Department of Pharmacy Practice, Swami Vivekananda College of Pharmacy, who is also the Secretary of SPOR India Tamil Nadu Regional Chapter, to address the gathering. Over to you, Dr. Subhashini.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning and good evening to everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to address this wonderful gathering on behalf of ISPAR India Tamil Nadu Regional Chapter. Today's webinar on overcoming practical challenges in pharmacoeconomics and outcome research in India reflects a third vision, one that aims to strengthen the bridge between clinical practice, economic evaluation, and policy decision making in our country. At the outset, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the Kalam Institute of Health Technology for initiating this impactful webinar series in association with all ISPAR regional chapters across India. It is indeed an honor for the Tamil Nadu regional chapter to be a part of this meaningful national collaboration. KIHT's consistent efforts to promote evidence-based healthcare innovation truly resonate with ISPAR's missions of improving health outcomes through informed and efficient decision-making. As we gather here, we are not only discussing challenges but also exploring opportunities, how we as clinicians, pharmacists, researchers, and policymakers can make pharmacoeconomics a practical and implementable reality in India. Our chapter has always believed that collaboration is the key to progress. Through our various initiatives, be it sensitization programs, student chapter activities, or research discussions, we strive to translate the principles of pharmacoeconomics into real-world impact. I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge our Chairman and Secretary, Dr. M. Karunanidhi, and the management of Vivekananda Educational Institution, whose unwavering support continues to empower the Tamil Nadu Regional Chapter and our students' communities. Their encouragement allows us to nurture young minds who are eager to contribute the field of health economics and clinical pharmacy practice. We are truly privileged to have with us today Dr. Muhammad Razid. His expertise in Pharmacoeconomics and outcome research will undoubtedly provide us with deep insights into the realities, gaps, and possibilities within the Indian healthcare system. On behalf of the ISPAR India Tamil Nadu Regional Chapter, I extend our warmest wishes for a successful and thought provoking session. May this session spark new ideas, collaborations, and research direction that bring us closer to a more cost effective and patient centered healthcare framework in India. Once again, I thank KIHT for this partnership and for giving our chapter the opportunity to be a part of this enriching initiative. Let us look forward to an inspiring and insightful learning experience. Thank you once again.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Subhashini, for your thoughtful and encouraging words. Now, moving on. So, today's session marks an important milestone as we conclude this impactful webinar series with the topic Practical Challenges and Solutions for Conducting Pharmacoeconomics and Outcomes Research in India. Now, it is my absolute privilege to introduce our distinguished speaker for today's session, Dr. Muhammad Rashid, the Postdoctoral Research Associate, Department of Pharmacotherapy, College of Pharmacy, University of Utah, USA. So, Dr. Rashid is an accomplished researcher with expertise spanning health economics, health technology assessment, evidence synthesis, and the integration of artificial intelligence in healthcare decision making. He completed his PhD from Manipal Academy of Higher Education as a DST Inspire Fellow, where he was recognized as the Best PhD Scholar of the Year 2024. Dr. Rashid has authored over 70 scientific papers in the leading international journals and holds active roles in organizations such as ISPER, the Federation of Clinical Pharmacists in India, and the Southeast Asia Evidence for Policy and Partnership. He has also received several prestigious honors, including the Frank May Gold Medal, Synology Gold Medal, and the Best Pharmacist of the Year 2023. Beyond these achievements, Dr. Rashid is deeply committed to nurturing the future healthcare researchers and promoting evidence based decision making in clinical health and policy setting. So today, Dr. Rashid will be sharing his invaluable insights on how India can navigate the real-world barriers in implementing pharmacoeconomic evaluations and how real-world evidence generation and capacity building and collaboration can drive the stronger healthcare policies and outcomes research. So, audience, so before we begin the session, just a quick note for all of audience is that please keep your microphones on mute during the session. So, if you have any kind of questions, feel free to drop them in the chat box. We'll take them up during the Q&A session at the end. And so, with that, it is my honor to invite Dr. Muhammad Rashid to lead us through today's session. Over to you, Dr. Rashid.
Yeah, I hope my slide is visible and my voice is clear.
Yes, you are clear.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Kavya, Dr. Kavita, Dr. Subhashini, Dr. Sajan, and Kalam Institute, Tamil Nadu Regional Chapter, and everyone for hosting me today. And it's a privilege to be part of this event series so far Kalam Institute was conducting. And yeah, always Kalam Institute, I always look into the things what they do. Even last year, I had a wish to attend the March event which you conducted for few weeks, but unfortunately, I have moved to US for that during that time. And yeah, I could see that Dr. Robert Selby and Dr. Anirban Basu, who is from Choice, Washington, being part of the collaboration. And it's really important to have international speakers, international experts, expertise into our Indian settings, at least to build the capacity building, teaching, education, training. Through that, our Indian system of research or our involvement in research can change eventually. So I can see that Kalam Institute is putting a lot of effort to that, and I truly appreciate that effort, whatever you been putting, and I'm happy to be part of that. And thank you so much. And moving forward, and I'm happy that I'm the last speaker of the series, and our topic is, getting as those who are constantly attending the sessions, they will be able to understand what exactly is pharmacoeconomic evaluation, what is evidence synthesis, and how actually the pharmacoeconomics and outcome research both are not different. It's like under one umbrella, and you might be able to really understand how it works and all. And today, we are getting into a real world topic, what actually the implementation, or I could not say implementation because implementation strategies are totally different. I can say that what are the barriers or challenges which we have whenever you think of conducting a pharmacoeconomic evaluation or health technology assessment in India settings, and what are the few solutions. It may not be the complete solution whatever I suggest, but what are the few initiation, at least Kalam Institute or Health Technology Assessment of India, HTA India, can take further to uplift the pharmacoeconomic evaluations in Indian region. So with that basic introduction, I'm moving forward. So thank you, Dr. Kavya, for sharing my professional journey. So this is my professional journey. Currently, I'm a postdoc at University of Utah, Salt Lake City, and I'm a part of Southeast Asia Evidence Partnership to the research side. But otherwise, I'm part of many organization. I'm currently president of Federation of Clinical Pharmacists in India, and I was a Asia Pacific regional lead for ISPO. And currently, I'm part of publication committee of ISPO Student Network, and I was a past networking and communication lead for ISP Student Network. And yeah, in that note, actually, when I was a Asia Pacific regional lead, I was trying to connect all the different chapters across India, and I might have connected with some of you, those who are in the leadership roles. So again, I'll be reaching out to you as part of, sorry for sharing this right now, but this is a good platform which I can share. I'll be reaching out to all the chapters again to get what kind of different programs which you are conducting, what are the different events which you are, conducting in your chapter wise, regional wise, or even or related to the ISPER and ISPER related activities. So please respond to that, and please share us so that we can have that in our ISPER student newsletter. So thank you so much, and I just want to share that information. So today we will be basically talking on just I'll be touching on what are the basic concepts of pharmacoeconomics, and what is the current status in Indian context and what we can do next. And I'll be just touching upon some of the challenges and the solutions for future uh, pharmacoeconomic evaluation. And I'll be just touching on discretional or distributional cost effectiveness analysis as well. So basically, whenever we study, let it be a M.Pharm student or PharmD student, whoever study, so this we will consider as, exam point of view. Yeah, this table is very important, and we just learned this, and we just reciprocate it. So again, I'm taking the same table, so I'm adding cost of illness to that as well. So you all know we are basically looking into four different type of pharmacoeconomics or health economic evaluation: cost minimization, cost effectiveness, cost benefit, and cost utility analysis. So I don't want to get into in detail, but basically I uh, uh, just help you to recollect whatever you have in your mind. So basically, cost minimization analysis, we look into some of same effectiveness drug. They will have a difference only in the cost, and we will just do a cost consequences analysis and cost scenario analysis to see which drug will be cheaper, providing that both has the same equivalent outcome in terms of clinical as well as the healthcare utilization point of view. Then cost effectiveness analysis, they will have different outcome measurement. They will have clinical endpoint mostly we were focusing on, and then they will have two different uh, rate of outcomes in terms of clinical endpoint. So we will be considering cost effectiveness plane, or we say cost effectiveness grid, to decide whether the drug is dominant or the drug is cost effective or the drug is, really valuable for the society when it is launching. Then we will be conducting some modeling. We'll be using different models like Markov model or Monte Carlo simulation, or we'll be using some other mathematical modeling to demonstrate its value, and then we'll be doing incremental net benefit analysis to actually decide whether is it really worth paying for that money. Then we have cost utility analysis, where we will be checking on quality adjusted life years, which is a utility outcome, and then we will be measuring how the particular drug is impacting the quality adjusted life years. Then you have cost benefit analysis, where that basically we use whenever you start a new intervention, which is in terms of a healthcare service, not only exactly drug. Suppose you start a asthma clinic, or you start a blood coagulation clinic, or some kind of health or services. We'll be converting the cost of as well as the benefit into monetary units, and then we'll be looking into that. And there is something like cost of illness or cost of burden analysis, we say, where we will be just looking what is the total burden for particular disease, like a burden of asthma. We have some reports, especially from India, when we had Nipah virus infection way back in few years back, and we have a cost of illness analysis from WHO for Nipah virus infection. So it is basically looking into the total burden of a particular disease or condition or disaster, whatever it is. Then the scanner below, that is actually I have done some of the webinars way back, which uh, completely get into each topic of this, whatever I'm just showing you here, which is about more than 2 hours or 3 hours session, where uh, I did somewhere in 2018 or 19, and then that will be very useful for the students who are a PharmD or M.Pharm to to understand basic concepts of all this analysis. So if you are interested, you can take that, or you can go to my YouTube channel and you'll be able to find those sessions. So that is the basic concepts of pharmacoeconomics. I just took this slide just to refresh your mind, just to refresh your memory, so that you'll be able to, go with the next slides. So in Indian context, this is, you all know this, and I took from the Akram Ahmad et al. That was published a few years back. So basically, you all know what are the different applications of pharmacoeconomics and outcome research. Because I don't want to take outcome research separately, I'll be merging outcome research concepts to the pharmacoeconomics whenever I talk. So basically, whenever a new drug comes, earlier concept was more of just looking into the efficacy. And eventually, when pharmacovigilance evolved, they started looking to the safety as well. But from last few years, or maybe from last 2 decades, the even FDA or any other regulatory bodies brought a change that it is not only efficacy, it is not only safety, even the cost matters. So whenever a new drug is launching to the market, or whenever a new drug is planning to launch in the market, they are supposed to do a cost effectiveness analysis with the existing drug. They can prove in two ways. Either they can prove that the launching drug is better than the existing drug, or they can say that, okay, the launching drug is not as better than the existing drug, but still it has a value because it's going with a cheaper cost. So those who are having marginalized, or those who are in the end of stage, or those who are having affordability issues, they can be able to afford those drugs, which is in the cheaper cost. So basically, but providing that the quality of drug will not be compromised. The quality of drug, the efficacy of drug, totally different. Don't confuse with that. So providing that the quality of drug is not compromised, uh, we need to look into the efficacy, we need to look into the safety, as well as we need to look into the cost of the drug, and not only cost of the drug, there are a lot of components. Maybe the experts from KHD will be able to translate about that. It's not just cost of the drug. There are a lot of other things. There are direct medical cost, direct non-medical cost, indirect cost, intangible cost, and there are some other uh, supporting cost or societal cost as well. So all those things comes to the picture when you perform a pharmacoeconomic evaluation. Then the next thing is finalizing a drug formulary. That is more of in terms of a hospital setting, or somebody want to bring a new drug into the market. But if you take that into a higher level, we have essential list of medicine, a national essential list of medicine. So whenever they decide whether they want to go with a new drug, adding to that essential list of medicine, obviously they need to look at the cost effectiveness of this drug, or they may have to perform some kind of new economic evaluation based on Indian context, or they may have to adopt from Southeast Asian region where they have conducted some economic evaluation nearby our country, and then they adopt that, and they essentially get if they feel, yeah, paying this much Indian rupee is worth getting that drug, then they'll be eventually taking into the drug formulary or essential list of medicine. Then next one is creating data for promotional material. That is more into the industry side. Compliance of requirement for drug licensing. This is very important, as I mentioned in the initial few of my words. The I mean, the regulatory authorities like FDA and even other authorities, they are bringing that cost effectiveness an important measure. And we have tough medical university, they have CA registries, and they conduct a lot of CEA economic evaluations of the new drugs on behalf of the government or on behalf of the drug companies to prove that whether that drug is having really cost effectiveness or not. Then that is very important. Then medical or insurance reimbursement schemes. This is very important, but I am doubtful, or it may be bit difficult for us to digest this concept, but because we never seen any much kind of insurance reimbursement system. But if you take US or European countries or even Middle East, they have insurance system where uh, different insurance payment systems will be taking care of their medical expenses. But in India, we do still have out-of-pocket expenditure. It's I cannot comment on that, or I can't say that you need to change, because there are a lot of challenges. You cannot simply just change the out-of-pocket to the health reimbursement or insurance reimbursement system. There are a lot of hurdles for that, especially in terms of economy, in terms of people's socioeconomic status, their earnings, their income, their expense. A lot of things matters over there. So basically, wherever the countries which they have insurance reimbursement system, they will do pharmacoeconomics or health economic or health technology assessment evaluations to see which alternative drug is better than what is ongoing for the patients, or the decision making. In India, what happened, not only India, when I hear that a lot of other places, doctor is not a healthcare decision maker, but doctor is a healthcare decision maker. In India, currently physicians or clinicians are the healthcare decision maker, where patients or consumers are getting less involvement with the decision making. But eventually, as the healthcare system progress, there will be a point where multidisciplinary healthcare decision making system will come in to evolve and get into the picture. So during that time, whenever they decide which drug has to be taken further, they not only look into the cost, they will look into the, sorry, not only looking to the efficacy, they'll be looking to the cost, they'll be looking to the multiple other parameters which can really check whether that drug is really important. Then the development and clinical trials, that is totally industrial area where they look the value of new drug, whether it is really worth going for that or not. So with that basic, I just told you what is the importance of having pharmacoeconomics, or what are the different applications of looking to the health economic evaluations. And here I just pulled out a recent study that has published in Value in Health Regional Issue in 2024 May, that has been done by Patel, Neelam et al. And it was a targeted literature review and they searched till June 2022, and they included the studies from 2017 to 2021, and they published in Value in Health Regional Issue. And they just searched PubMed. This is something called as outcome research, where you will be doing the evidence synthesis, you will be doing something, getting the evidence out of the existing literatures or something. So systematic review is the part of outcome research. It is very important as part of the pharmacoeconomics and outcome research as well. So basically, they assessed all the different economic evaluations conducted in India on different aspects. So it should be an original economic evaluation, and it should be conducted in India, and it should be published as a full text, and it should be published in English language. And they used quality of health economic studies checklist, which is a 16 item checklist, and they assessed what is the quality of the studies. And what they found, that is interesting. You can see that the green line indicate what is the maximum score for each domain of 16 questions, and you can see what the studies got the average. And you can see that except for the question 15, all other questions had, except for the question 15 and 16, all other questions had a lower average than the maximum. So total, all these studies had a fair quality. And my point is here, that is one thing. Second thing is that they have summarized what are the problems. So this is again another representation to show us what was the percentage achieved by these studies or average achieved by these studies for each criteria. And you can see that 14 that look into the bias, and maybe 4 that is looking into the primary outcome measures, what outcome measures they have taken, all these things. So these are all affect the quality of studies. Primary outcome measures which they have taken. If you read further that paper, that is there in the Value in Health regional. And if you read that paper, you can understand that uh, defining a primary outcome is very important, and not only just defining a primary outcome. So see, there are different kind of evaluations. There is cost effectiveness analysis. So, and there is a cost utility analysis, and there is cost benefit analysis. So there should be a good balance when you choose out of that. It is not just okay for everything I have to do cost effectiveness. No, that is wrong. You need to see, okay, whether you want to do a cost effectiveness or cost utility analysis. And if you're doing a cost effectiveness analysis, what should be your primary outcome? Is it a clinical endpoint, or is it a healthcare utilization endpoint, or something like that? If you go with the quality, go with the cost utility analysis, and then identify the utility measures, identify the person time year, or identify the how many life years, then you convert that into quality, and all those things matters. And you should be very careful while you choosing your life year measures. We have standardized life years for India, and you have to use that. And I knew that there was some effort from PJ Chandigarh, as well as NIPER collaborative team, where they were trying to develop some EQ5D standardization, European QOL 5D standardization for Indian population. So you should do that standardized parameters to build your model or to do the analysis. And if you are failing to do this, that will impact your quality of pharmacoeconomic evaluation. That will eventually question whatever the evidence which you are getting. So that's very important. And not only the positive outcome, that is something goes to the bias selective reporting, we say. uh, Whenever you look into the outcome, it is not just only the efficacy. You need to look into the consequences. You need to look into the safety parameters as well. Okay, you are saying that tomorrow, if you give, okay, now GLP-1 is a hot topic, right? So if you are doing any GLP-1 analysis in any set of population, you are not only talking on how much it can reduce the diabetes or how much it can reduce the obesity. Not only that matters. Okay, after you give this drug, how many patients are getting hypoglycemia? That is an important thing, because that will affect the cost. So So you should be able to state what are the negative outcomes of those interventions and how much cost it can impute into your model and how you can get into those things. That is very important. Then reporting bias, that is another point which you need to take care of. Then statistical and sensitivity analysis, that is something really important further. So all these things are imparting the quality, or all these things are affecting the quality of evidence pharmacoeconomic evaluations in India. Further, what this study suggests, why I'm saying I don't want to just uh, talk without any evidence. So this I clearly took from a system targeted literature review, not a exact systematic review, but it's a targeted literature review. And they were finalizing that it was all the studies had a fair quality. I mean, significant proportion of studies had a fair quality, and there is a need for standardization of guideline. That is very important. There is a need for standardized guidelines, and there is a need for increasing peer-reviewed health economics channels in India. And I'm happy to see that Kalam Institute is brought up a journal, and I have maybe a question that whether it is Corpus or PubMed indexed. If not, I encourage uh, Kalam Institute to go with indexing and get it indexed in international uh, databases. That is very important, especially in this context, to make our studies are believable to the audience. Not only believable to the audience, if the world researchers want to take your evidence, you need to get it indexed in high quality databases. So I encourage you to go ahead with indexing it in Scopus or PubMed. If you're not done, if you're done, that's well and good. I'm sorry, I didn't look into that in detail. Then there should be a collaborative effort that is very important, very, very important. See, I'm as a pharmacist, though I do pharmacoeconomic modeling, I'm not expert in modeling. I'm not expert in mathematics. I'm not expert in Excel. I'm not expert in macro functions of expert. I have the limitation. But when you are in a collaboration with a super expert leading mathematician, or you are in collaboration with a statistician, you are in collaboration with industry, and then you can ask the questions to industry. Hey, I found something like this. Do you agree with this? Otherwise, what happened? You do just economic evaluation, and tomorrow you are saying that this drug is not cost effective. Believe me, you will be getting beaten from the pharmaceutical industry, because they put a lot of effort, they put a lot of money invested into launching that drug, and tomorrow without a proper basis, I know I can't say that there is no proper basis. You did your analysis. My point is that you should confirm with the company whether you were whether your results are believable to them or acceptable to them. And don't think that always pharmaceutical companies, they will just come and bite you. No, they don't. They have evidence synthesis department, they have medical rating team, they have medical statistics team. They also do the economic evaluation, they also do the evidence synthesis, they also do systematic reviews. So whenever you get any outcome, just reach out to their team and just ask, hey, I found something like this. Are you okay with that? Or do you think, is it correct? Yeah, obviously they will have the evidence for that, and they will reach out to you back. And if they feel there is something wrong, and they will let you collaborate with them. And I'm sure that KHIT might have some collaborations like that. And there are education experts. Like I said, there should be statistician, there should be Excel expert. We are not expert. As I'm a pharmacist, though I do a lot of meta-analysis, network meta-analysis, even the health economics modeling or return of investment analysis, where I am more focusing. Though I do all those things, still I will confirm with a clinician. Hey, I always have a clinician in my team, so just reach out to them. I'll just ask them. Though I do meta-analysis since more than, I think, more than maybe 8 to 9 years or 10 years, I'm doing this systematic reviews and or meta-analysis. But still I reach out to a physician, or I reach out to a expert in the field to know whether my meta-analysis results make sense to the clinical community. That is very important. Policymakers are very important. I have more slides which discuss all on these collaboration parts. So we'll discuss more over the. Now the question is that when they suggest all this, my question is that why this is happening and what we can do further. Yes, the problem is not with we don't have anything. The problem might be we are not trying to explore something, or we are not might be able to translate into our research, or we may not be able to do properly implement that into our research concepts. That is the important. Is there anything in India? Yes, we do have some guidelines. I don't know how many of you might have read this guideline. This has done somewhere in 2015, where back, long back, I mean 10 years back, and this will give you a basic understanding of pharmacoeconomics and outcome research which you can conduct in India. And there are a lot of experts who are part of this guideline, and this I have since long back in my reading materials, and it's give you symbol because what happened many times as we come from a linguistic barrier to English. We may not be able to understand some international books or international guidelines or something. We will be able to understand definitely, but there will be some limit. But if you read this document, your thought process, your understanding basics on economics, pharmacoeconomic evaluations, and outcome research will be very clear. So I suggest you students to read this, and there is some big movement in India, I could say. I used to go through the HTA India website almost every week, once or twice, to understand what exactly they are doing in India. And surprisingly, I could see that more than 310 different economic evaluation, different cost effectiveness evaluation they have done so far. Since maybe I think HTA India came maybe last year or maybe last 2 year, I don't remember exact date, but within that time frame, they were able to do more than 310 different economic evaluation. I'm so happy for that. This is a big initiative, and I believe if there is something can be done in the future, HTA India can lead a lot. And I know that Kalam Institute is one of the regional resource center for them, and HTA India has a lot of capacity building programs. And last week, from last Tuesday to today, Saturday, there was some things happening in Health Research Department, New Delhi, where they were providing hands-on training on health technology assessment, different cost effectiveness modeling, all those things for the regional resource centers and centers across India. I'm aware of that as well. So in future, I'm sure HTA India can take a lead and they can come up with a lot of things in the future. Then now I'm getting into the practical challenges, and I'm just putting up some solutions. I don't know whether it is how much it is feasible or uh, how long it will take to make it feasible, but I'm just putting some ideas where the leaders like pioneers like Kalam Institute or HTA India or ICMR Health Research Department, they can take a lead into bringing all these things. The major issue which we don't have a comprehensive cost and outcome data that is from Indian setting, and we have a lot of inconsistent hospital records, as you could see. The thing is, like, as you all aware, we don't have a health reimbursement system. It's all out of pocket expenditure, and this out of pocket expenditure is nowhere documented. Okay, you don't know how much I'm spending in India for getting my healthcare services. You don't know how much I'm spending when I go to hospital, when I stay in the hospital for a week or 2 week. You are not aware how much I am spending. But if you have a health reimbursement system where health insurance companies are paying all your expenses, they know each and everything, how much you paid for this, how much you paid for that, except the indirect cost or intangible cost. If they have measures for intangible cost, they can. Otherwise, there is no information on that. So that is the major barrier if you want to take only the Indian setting data. So the solution might be HTA India or ICMR can bring nationwide databases, at least for outcome measures right now, where the population data can be gathered from different sources and they can pull into a particular database. I don't know how much it is possible at the moment, but eventually EHR adoption, electronic health record adoption, that is very important. Believe me, to just collect 800 patient data sitting in MRD during my PhD, it took me about more than 7 to 8 months to get my cost effective, to do my cost effectiveness, to collect the outcome data, patient demographics, and getting the cost data. That cost data again comes from different sources. I need to split each and everything. So that paper and pen work, it is very tedious. So if you have EHR data, electronic health record data, I'm aware that Manipal is bringing that change. I think Believers Church in Kerala, they are bringing that change. I don't know how many other hospitals are bringing that change, but eventually, if there is a change of EHR adoption or EMR adoption, then it will be able to come up with a good data, which we can directly translate into our model rather than just computing by sitting with paper and pen. Then multicentric data sources, we need multicentric data sources because India is diverse. Indian population is diverse. Indian healthcare is diverse. Indian provision of healthcare is diverse. The adoption of guidelines are different. So many diversity in India. So if you need to get a proper data, you should have a multicentric data set where it can provide you the data across the Indian region. Then you can accumulate them. You can find out some measure of measures, and then you can do that, incorporate that into your analysis. Or maybe you can do Indian setting based meta-analysis. I used to do that. I have few meta-analysis that was focused only on Indian setting. I have a meta-analysis that was published in PLOS where I looked into the drug saroglitazar that was only uh, specifically indicated for Indian population. Then I did some work on self-medication, how much self-medication, what is the prevalence, and what are the different predictors of self-medication in India. Then I have done something on potentially inappropriate prescription as well. So you can accumulate Indian data separately through meta-analysis or advanced statistics or population cohorts or something like that. Then you can utilize that data for your economic evaluation. That's very important. Then the other one, as I mentioned, healthcare heterogeneity. It's too much. There is various financial models. Even in Manipal itself, when I was working, there are some patients will be totally out of pocket expenditure. Some patients will be, something will be covered from Pradhana Mantri Ayojana, something will be covered from some Karnataka Arogya, then something will be covered from some other local vendors or some kind of private insurance companies, or something will be completely waived, or something they will get some discount from hospital itself because hospital had some insurance policies, all those things. So if you take the cost data itself in India, it is diverse, it is varying, and there is no uniformity, right? If you go to a big hospital, they charge you like thousands of rupees for a particular test, and if you take that test same to a smaller clinic, they will charge you 100 rupees or hundreds of rupees. So there is a diversity for the same test, same person going to different setting, there is a diversity. So there is no standardization. It's highly heterogeneous, highly diverse. So that is one challenge. So maybe understanding the multicentric cost, you can take some samples from a clinic, some sample from a bigger hospital, or some sample from a north region, some sample from a south region. Then you can compare what is the difference, and maybe you use the mean or standardized measure to do your uh, uh, basic analysis, and then you do some sensitivity analysis, or you do some scenario analysis based on the region or based on the other multi-factors. You can run a probability sensitivity analysis, or you can then run a one-way sensitivity analysis, or maybe scenario analysis to understand how these things are changing. And other thing, like I said, establish a national costing standard. I could see that. Sometime I use that whenever I do a cost minimization analysis. We have Pradhan Mantri list for our generic drugs, where they will provide you a list of drugs as well as the cost of drug for generic drugs, which they bring through your uh, I don't remember the exact scheme, but something they promote generic drugs. So in that list, if you go, you will be able to identify the standard cost for those drugs which are completely going general. So I use that for my cost minimization analysis whenever I do, but it may not be applicable for your cost effectiveness because I don't know whether the drug which you are focusing will be included in that list or not. So that is something standardization, and if we can bring a standardized manual for that, and we do have manual. I was going through before your presentation yesterday. I was going through some of the HTA India the manuals, and they are bringing the standardized methodology to, overcome this heterogeneity, overcome this diversity. So you can adopt that. And believe me, you need to adopt the manuals. That's very important. You can't just simply do a cost effectiveness analysis. You need to adopt the manual that is coming from, recognized, authorized organizations like HTA India or HTA International to go further for your analysis. That is very important. Then other things like methodological caps, like I said, there is no uniform guidelines or varying perspective and measures. Like I said, you have to do sometimes societal perspective, or if you cannot go for a societal perspective, you have to do healthcare system perspective. Obviously, peer perspective is not applicable to our Indian setting. So what I suggest you always go with health technology assessment of India, HTA India guidelines or methodologies which they say, so that you have a standardized guideline, and if everyone reporting according to that. And another important thing, there are two things. One is your methodology, another one is your reporting. Don't get confused. The methodological quality is different and reporting quality is different. Whenever you report, you need to go with either cheers guideline, or you need to go with any other reporting guidelines. But whenever you conduct your research, you need to go with the proper technology methodologies. That is very important. And we need to bring up more national wide uh, economic evaluation standards or guidelines. I think Kalam Institute can take a bigger part, as well as HTA India can take a bigger part in this mission. And then limited expertise. We know that I know that how much I struggled to learn pharmacoeconomics in India, and that eventually facilitated me to move to US for learning more advanced things. But I'm sure nowadays there are a lot of capacity building sessions are happening, like I mentioned. uh, Currently, health research department is conducted a 1 week program for regional centers. But for the public, I heard, I don't know, you have to check the fact check. I hear that PGI Chandigarh is giving a 3 month course, and PGI Chandigarh is giving a 6 month course that is focused on, this pharmacoeconomic evaluation. And you can see that Kalam Institute is giving in the March a 1 week. And I could see that Dr. Anirban Basu, who is a expert from Choice Institute of University of Washington. I had a meeting with him last March. So he's a wonderful expert in this region. In this domain, and I'm sure those who are attending Kalam Institute program as well, they will get benefited out of it. So you need to bring up more expertise in this region. We need to bring up more collaboration and introduce the specialized training. It is not just giving a theoretical basic or theoretical understanding. Give them more practical sessions. Teach them how to use Excel. Excel is not simple. Excel equations are not simple. Excel inputs are not simple. VBA you need to learn. Visual Basic Analysis we need to learn. That's not simple. And there is a problem. What happens many times when you have access to the triage, or when you have access to the R, and you are expert in triage or access, if you directly go with triage, I'm not against directly going for triage. If you go with the triage will just run the analysis and give you the result, but you don't know what is happening behind. You will not have a fact check whether something gone wrong backside. But I heard from one of my friend that recently Triage has bring a advancement that you can convert that whole model into Excel sheet. That's a good thing, so that you can cross check if your inputs has gone wrong or something going wrong or not. But if you have experience with Excel, you will be able to understand what changes are happening. Okay, when you just change one parameters of effectiveness, what the whole model is going to change. And you need to learn visual basic analysis. We need to learn how to run a PSA, probabilistic sensitivity analysis, how to run different statistics in the Excel. So that will help us to get into more into this. Funding constraints, I know that we are not in a stage yet to get funding from different societies for pharmacoeconomic evaluations, but if we can show the value, if we can tell that yes, the future is evolving around this, and there is so much of innovation which we can bring through the pharmacoeconomic evaluations and outcome research, then obviously we can seek grants from ICMR, DBT, or DST, or any other funding sources which if we can demonstrate them the value. Then awareness and acceptance under use of economic evidence in policy and practice, this is very important. And whenever you do a systematic review, believe me, you should not only economic evaluation. Why should I bring this here? Means I can see that a lot of systematic reviews are coming from India. Okay, I have to tell this. I'm sorry. Uh, After COVID, everyone moved to systematic review. Before COVID, when I was doing back long back, there was not much people were involved with systematic reviews, meta-analysis, and but after COVID, we can see a big surge. And one of my friend has done some analysis on how much there is a change as well. So we can see a big surge in publications of systematic reviews, meta-analysis after COVID. That's a two different era. So believe me, if you are doing any systematic reviews, if you are doing any meta-analysis, please make sure that it has some value. It should not be just okay, you do systematic review meta-analysis for your learning, that is different story. But when it comes to a publication, when it comes to something, a manuscript, make sure that it has some value. Don't just get it published because of all this publisher perish concept, or the competition inside the universities to make more papers without quality. Don't do that. You can do hundreds of papers without quality. Go into some like some garbage journals. Don't do that. Do with the quality. Come up with something value to the society, something value to the decision making. Let it change. So whenever you do a systematic review, whenever you do a meta-analysis, either it should be able to bring out a new information, or it should be able to strengthen the existing evidence, or it should bring some change in the society or in the decision making process. Otherwise, it's very difficult. So we need to conduct the workshops. Why I brought this? Because the policymakers, those who are sitting in the top, those who change the policies, may not be aware of your research. No, they are not, because they are not coming from the same domain what you came from. So to make them understand, your systematic reviews, your meta-analysis, your pharmacoeconomic evaluations should have the value, should be able to translate pupils' problem. It should be able to address the need of society. Then only it will have the value. Otherwise, you will get the publication, you will get the citation, no doubt on that. You will get the incentive also for that. That is a different story. But when it is you are thinking in the societal perspective, let it be with the value that will bring some change. I have the experience when I did my work on you know the but I think it was on something home medication review which I did on older population, and we were I have done some work on potential inappropriate medication as well. And I was so honored to understand that that publication has been discussed in Lok Sabha, and they were able to bring the changes through ICMR in terms of looking into the safety and looking into the quality of medicine products in India. So that was one achievement which I could court, and you should be able to translate this kind of evidence whenever you think of a systematic review or meta-analysis and all those things. So my point here is that if you want to convince the policymakers, you can't simply say there is no changes happening in India. No, it won't happen until you make a quality publication, until you make a quality research, until you make a convincible result to the policymakers. If you are not doing good research, obviously there won't be any change in India. So to see the change in India, it should start from us, researchers, students, those who are engaged with research, people like us. We should bring quality work. We should bring, the better value work. Then obviously there will be a change. So I stop at this moment. I'm sorry. So then, as further, my question is that what we need to do. This is very important. So what we need to do, you can do always before you conduct a pharmacoeconomic evaluations or before you conduct any research. According to me, you need to understand the need. To do the need better, do a rapid review, or do a systematic review, or do a scoping review, or do a targeted literature review. And the purpose of that targeted literature review should be to understand the gap. The understanding gap is different getting into math. Once you understood the gap, if it is not having much things, then let it publish. No, that is to understand the gap. It may not be perfect. If you want to make it perfect, take that further, make a proper systematic review, publish it, no problem. But otherwise, just to take that systematic review or scoping review to understand the gap. Once you understood the gap, okay, there is a need for economic evaluation. Yes, you conduct the economic evaluation. Once you conduct the evaluation, engage the policy makers. You can write to ICMR, or you can write to, DPT, DST, or I don't know who is the policy maker. So just in that field which you are working, if it is a diagnostic, you can go to your CDSCO, or if it is something material vigilance, you can go to our PCI material vigilance team. If it is something pharmacovigilance, you can go to PVPI, go to the policymakers, talk with them, engage them, and you say, hey, I found this something valuable. Are you interested to talk further? If they are interested, engage them, demonstrate the value to them. That is your part. Until we do this part, we can't see a change because we all want to bring change in India. So if we want to bring a change in India, we have to start from us. Then, as further, take into the real world evidence. Okay, this all modeling. Whatever you did, it is all modeling. You don't know exactly what is going to happen in India. Okay, once you engage them, once you demonstrate the value, take that into the government, as I mentioned. Talk to the government, perform policy impact analysis, perform budget impact analysis. So if you do policy impact analysis, if you do budget impact analysis, you will be able to tell them in a way which policymakers understand. The left side of my screen, that is only the researcher can understand. That cannot be understood by a policymaker. If you want to make a policymaker's perspective, then you need to conduct a policy impact analysis, or you need to conduct a budget impact analysis, and you need to generate the real world evidence. Then you need to translate to them. You need to make them convince. Yes, then once they see the value, they can change the policy. So this is the way how it should run. It is otherwise, believe me, we cannot see a change in the future very soon. So, how much it is possible? Maybe the left side may be possible because we are the stakeholders there. We can do that. But to the other side, it will take some time. But my point is that keep doing. But one day will come where we will get it done. So this is very important to engage them, getting along with the government. Then the next thing is that this is very important, ethical and cultural barriers, as I mentioned. uh, India is very diverse in terms of a lot of factors, socioeconomic, socio-demographic, social determinants of health. Everything is totally different and diverse in India. So whenever you do any analysis, believe me, you have to conduct a sensitivity analysis. You have to conduct a scenario analysis. You have to contextualize the instrument, like I said, EQ5D. EQ5D is for your European population. You can't simply take EQ5D for your population. No, it is not possible. You can take when I did I went to eqfid team and I took their permission. I used Malayalam, I used Kannada, and I used a Hindi version of them. And they have all the language versions. You can utilize that, but eventually you need to look into the Indian standard to make the life years, to calculate the life years, to calculate the quality. When then you do the analysis. Industry collaboration, that's very important. The challenge with industry collaboration is data sharing and conflict of interest, because we all afraid of industries. Whenever I say industry collaboration, academician will be no, we don't want industries. But the fact is not like that. You have to be with the industry. You have to understand what is their perspective. Like I said, that thing is like you can't simply oppose their drugs. It is hard, it is conflict. So you can have the confidentiality agreement, or you can have independent evaluations, all those things, and engage the industries, because it will help you to get the fund. That is very important. I don't know how many of you know this fact. Every industry have some percentage. It depends on the industry. Some have 6%, some have 8%, some have 10% of their annual revenue only dedicated to the research. It is their decision whether they want to utilize that within their own industry, or they want to do it for the outside people like us, academicians. So I have been connected with the Pfizer, I have been connected with the Merck, I have been connected with some other industries as well, DMS and all. So point is that industries will do funding for you, but you have to convince them properly. That's a one way you can have the industrial collaboration, and obviously they will be along the way. Then the next challenge is that policy translation. As I mentioned, it is not easy to translate the policy. So we have to have decision making as well as research lane in lane. So mostly I say that strengthen the HTA policy interfaces, create open access evidence repositories, because you should have to bring a lot of open access evidence in terms of publications, in terms of real world evidence, in terms of gray literature that can be accessible to the everyone in India, so that they can utilize the evidence. Cost effectiveness threshold, this is very important. You can't see a cost effectiveness threshold in India. When I was doing my study in India, I was working on a critical care of Kasturba Hospital, Manipal, and I was doing ARDS patients. Basically, I was developing a corticosteroid treatment regimen for patients with acute respiratory distress syndrome, and I have done a cost effectiveness analysis for that as well. When I was doing, okay, I did my cost effectiveness analysis. Now the question is that what is the willingness to pay threshold? I could not see any willingness to pay threshold across India. No, then I had to go back to CMC value document to understand how much is the threshold. Luckily, I could get some economic evaluation where they have done some real world evidence of Delphi method and qualitative data collection to set up the threshold for ICU patients. So then I used that as a threshold in my study. So there should be GDP based empirical threshold, there should be budget impact analysis, and India should bring up the thresholds for cost effectiveness analysis for different diseases, different situations, different conditions, to facilitate the economic evaluations in India. And finally, I'm sorry if I take long so much of time. I don't know how much time I spoke already. So I'm coming to the end of my presentation with equity and disparity. This is very, very, very important. I don't know whether you can think of it right now. Equality is different, equity is different. So, equality means you are giving the healthcare services, you are giving all your health services equally for every population. No, that is not right. We have marginalized population, we have low socioeconomic population, we have poor population, we have people who are not even able to afford one time meal. So making your healthcare intervention affordable to them is very important. So for that, you need to conduct the equity analysis. You need to address the discrete equity aspect. So this I took from another value in health paper by Cookson et al. Cookson is one of the top leader in equity and disparity. So you can see that current evidence is lack of distribution of health opportunity cost and cost measuring programs, distributional impact on the general population, impact of inequality health outcomes, and how inequality impact the uh, your outcomes, and there is no trade-offs for equity and efficiency objectives. So what we can do, this is one study from my own lab, where my some of I am not directly involved with the distribution of cost effectiveness, but there are some of my team who are working purely on equity and disparity. So they have done some studies on vaccination, and they found that adjusting the income and maternal education, black people as well as they have a very low significant vaccination compared to the white respondents. So they did some evaluation, and finally, my point here, I don't want to get into that research. I just want to show you that how uh, health equity research, how distributional effect research will help us to understand uh, what is happening among different populations that are marginalized or low social disparity. Then, what we do, we have to do distributional cost effectiveness analysis. Then, when you do distributional cost effectiveness analysis, there are two major aspects. One is that you will be modeling to understand the distribution of health associated with each intervention. You will be having a baseline health distribution, then you will be having a baseline distribution effect due to this opportunity cost or due to all these factors. Then you evaluate the social distribution or social determinants of health, and you model again your economic model according to this. So once you do that, what you get? So you will be getting something like that. You see, so you will be able to understand. So here they brought three different models for again the vaccine projects. So they brought one is status quo, another one is standard, another one is equity targeted. So equity targeted is our important. So equity targeted, you can see that equity targeted program in this case was mobile vaccine clinic, it was education and a community engaged outreach program. So that is equity focused intervention. Otherwise, if you just provide the vaccination, it is not equity focused because it is not reaching to the marginalized people. So to make that reach into the marginalized people, you need to have equity focused intervention. So here what they did, they introduced mobile vaccine clinic, they introduced the health education, they introduced the community outreach programs that has been evaluated as a equity focused intervention. And when they did this, you can see that this has reduced 14 percentage of overall infection, 6 percentage of hospitalization, and 8 percentage of the death. And it has reduced, inequity was reduced 42 percentage for infection, 43 percentage for hospitalization, and 38 percentage for the death. And if you see the cost, when they did cost per capita analysis, they can see that it has to be paid only $525 for equity program, which was 665 for standard, and it was 1000 for the status quo. So this is what important. So you are able to reach better health outcome, you are able to reduce the disparity, as well as you are able to save some cost when you provide the equity focused intervention. So that is very important, which we need to incorporate in our economic evaluations in future in India. Another one is affordability. I don't have the slide for that, but I will just touch upon affordability. So the affordability means after you do your pharmacoeconomic evaluations, you should be able to tell whether this is affordable to our Indian population. Okay, if it is affordable, which population? You have to make sure that, okay, once you have the intervention, you have the INB calculation, you have your ICR calculation, then you should be able to tell your Indian population, those who are having a annual income of 10,000, 20,000, whatever it is, whether they're able to afford your intervention. If a population who is having less than that, okay, we have APL system, we have BPL system, are they able to afford your intervention? So that affordability is very lacking in India. So whenever you do any pharmacoeconomic evaluations in future, try to get the affordability analysis done, try to get the sensitivity analysis done, try to get the scenario analysis done, try to get the distributional cost effectiveness if possible, to address the equity and disparity. All these things are very important. So, with that, I would like to conclude my session. And for me, pharmacoeconomic research is essential and sustainable in India. Only thing is that we have to bring out good standardization in that. We have to bring out good research in that. We have to provide the convincible evidence to the policymakers. Collaboration, capacity building, and methodological consistency is the key for future in pharmacoeconomics. And finally, need-based, equity-focused research is very important. No, just don't do the economic evaluation. Understand whether it is really needed for India. I have around 4 or 5 topics that is really need for India right now. And even I have some meta-analysis report for that, but I didn't get a chance to explore that further. So if there is any interest in future, you can reach out to me. I'm ready to collaborate. I'm happy to get educated. I'm happy to get or take that work further. So with this, I would like to stop my presentation. And if you would like to connect me, you can scan this QR code and I'm more than happy to help you in any domain which I have knowledge of. Maybe I can help you with epidemiology, I can help you with economics, I can help you with evidence synthesis, I can help you with health technology. I'm doing some of generative AI, artificial intelligence related works as well. One of my recent paper got published in Value in Health, where I looked how ChatGPT, cloud, and all those things can help in conducting a systematic review. Another one I was done a pure research where I kept ChatGPT as one reviewer, Cloud as another reviewer, and human as another reviewer. Then we did screening for some papers, and we would be able to see whether ChatGPT is able to help us. So I'm involved with such kind of research as well. So if any interest, you can reach out to me. I'm happy to collaborate as possible. So I'll stop at this moment and I'll hand over to the organizer. Thank you so much for uh, joining with me, and thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Rashid, for that inspiring and insightful session. So, you have beautifully captured the current scenario and the evolving role of pharmacoeconomics in India while highlighting the importance of quality of pharmacoeconomic studies in our country. And also, your practical perspectives will undoubtedly guide the students or HER professionals and the researchers who are in this session, which where it will be strengthening, where they can strengthen their uh, capability in this HER domain. So yes, any questions, audience? Audience, the floor is open for questions. You can unmute yourself and can raise your queries or questions.
Yeah, thank you, Sachin, for that great question. Uh, I do understand that your team has been collaborating with KHIT in preparing the pharmacoeconomic guidelines across India. And your question is that beyond that, how the regional chapters can involve with uh, understanding or getting into the data collection. So I may start with the regional chapter, student chapter first, then I'll get into the regional chapter, then I'll get into the national chapters. The student chapter, the basic purpose of a student chapter is to engage the students with economic evaluation. That was the passion when I was joining ISPA 10 years ago, maybe, yeah, 2016. That time, I never had any chapter across the southern region. I had to rely on some northern region chapters, and I was part of northern region chapter. Then I started from that point for connection with the ISPO. So, what I suggest you from the student chapter perspective, first thing is that provide internal sessions to the students, either weekly or monthly, to strengthen their basic understanding of pharmacoeconomics. What students are currently doing, they go with the syllabus, they just use some slides, they just mug up for by heart for exams and just wipe it out there. So you should be able to translate them, just make them understand what is the value of this, give them some internal session, get some external experts. You can collaborate with other student chapters, or you can collaborate with the regional chapters, or you can bring experts from this institute to other institute. Give them practical training. Okay, there will be experts who conducted the simple economic evaluation, maybe some cost minimization or cost effectiveness analysis. Bring them with their work. They should not just, use the same slides what they teach in the class. No, ask them to come with their practical experience which they gained when they conducted their economic evaluation. Like I have taken one session in University of Georgia, Atlanta, USA last year, where I brought all my challenges which I faced when I was doing my PhD. So that was fascinating for them because they never experienced that kind of challenges. When I said them that I'm still taking the data with paper and pen, they were like shocked because they never experienced that in their life because they have the electronic databases, they have all those things. So my point is that you bring experts with their practical knowledge to disseminate with the students. That is first part. Okay. Then the students will understand. Okay, this is what exactly it is, and they will find. We don't have to teach the students to get into the job. That they will do. Our job is to facilitate them to understand which job is good, which domain is good. The students will be interested in multiple things. Some will be good in economics, some will be good in epidemiology. We don't know what they're good at. Our thing is that provide them the opportunity, let them utilize it. So the point is that uh, first thing, you need to build the capacity. You need to have the capacity building through them, through providing practical training. That is the first thing. Okay, they got the practical training. Next thing, engage them the research, basic research. Don't give them high burden. They don't do. Students will escape. Believe me, students will escape. So what you need to do, you need to start with small research. What you can do, you can just do some cost of illness analysis. It does not need any much big analysis. What you all have to do that, okay, you have to analyze the cost of diabetes in the last 1 year. Let it be that small project. Or you can do some kind of return on investment analysis, that small analysis. Or you make them conduct a small meta-analysis or something. So that is one thing which we can focus. Next thing, in terms of data collection, which you asked, I have a thought, and I expressed that thought with my previous team in Manipal as well. When I read, like I said during my presentation, that I never had any threshold for any willingness to pay. So that should be the first, which is very easy. It is not a big, hi-fi science. You may have to conduct a survey, you may have to conduct a cross-sectional study, or maybe you'll have to, have a mixed method research where you conduct a survey, then next you involve the experts in the field, then you refine that, then you decide a threshold. Okay, you can conduct a threshold or willingness to pay. You can do a survey of 150 population or 200 population, those who are coming to your hospital, and you can ask a couple of questions. Okay, suppose you are doing your research in diabetes, you can ask the patient. Okay, you can ask a question like, oh, you are coming to our hospital, how much you think you can afford for a doctor, to consult a doctor? Some can say 100, some can say 150, some can have 200. So when you get a lot of data like this, then you can ask next question. Okay, you're coming to our lab. How much you expect you should pay when you check your fasting blood sugar? How much you expect when you check your PPBS, when your random blood sugar? So you get a estimate what exactly the patient is ready to pay. That is ultimately willingness to pay. So when you're getting that estimate, you can conduct some statistics over there, and you will be able to tell in this population, this is what they are willing to pay. The same research, you collaborate with another region, you collaborate with Kalam Institute, who is in the Andhra region. So they can give what their population is expecting. So when you are getting different zonal region, obviously you are building the data, you are strengthening the data, you are getting nationwide data, and you are able to build. This is what mean a collaboration. So this kind of smaller research, this kind of data collection, would definitely strengthen in the future. And when you have this kind of evidence, then you can reach out to HTA India, or you can reach out to ICMR. Hey, I'm conducting this kind of small research. Would you like to help me out to make it bigger? Then they can put their hand in, help you to have a bigger research. So it's all has to go step by step. We can't jump into the higher level. I can't think of right now, okay, I will do a nationwide analysis. No, it is not possible. Especially a country like India, it is not possible. You have to start from that's what I said. I will start from student chapter. Start from student chapter, then get into the region, then get into the zone, then get into the nationwide. So that should be the step by step approach. And which research, uh, believe me, this question I get in every talk. Even I had a talk in the morning in Manipal. It was on MESPACON, a conference happening on SP. So I had a talk over there, and I get same question, sir. What should I research? I can't answer that. Believe me, I cannot answer what should be your research question. That you have to figure out what should be your research question, and then you have to build upon that. I'm sorry if I said a lot of things, but I'll stop at this moment. But this is the way how you can tackle it. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for your reply.
So, any more questions? I think no. So, Dr. Rashid, as mentioned, we are also working on this updating the pharmacoeconomic guidelines for India, and where we are planning to launch in this December 2025. That is almost done. The review part is going. So, if we can collaborate, where you can be our one of our review expert and where you can contribute to it, it will be really very impactful thing, because we are taking the help from various stakeholders in reviewing it. So
Yeah,
if
I'm more
you
than
are,
happy to do that.
yeah,
Yes.
so hope this
Actually,
helps.
yeah, actually, my first PhD proposal, which I presented in Manipal, was developing pharmacoeconomic guideline in India. Unfortunately, I could not be successful because there was no expert who can support me in this process in 2019. And that was my, I still have that PPT which I brought. That's where those things come. When I answered, yeah, there is a guideline which is happened in 2015. And I proposed my PhD develop a pharmacoeconomic evaluation guideline for India. But unfortunately, I could not be successful because I didn't have expertise who can help me out, and I had to take pharmacoeconomic evaluation as just one of the aim of my whole PhD. But believe me, that taught me a lot different things. So eventually, that is the reason I moved to US to learn more about pharmacoeconomics. So I'm more than willing, happy to help you out for that.
So we have collected the inputs from the 9 chapters across India on this pharmacoeconomic guidelines, and we have compiled it. So mostly the other review team will be reverting to us in within 4 to 5 days, where I'll be sharing you the thing so that you can review and get back to you with your comments, where we can work together on it and taking it forward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah. And students, if anybody wants to attend the next HTA fellowship, which is in the March, you can kindly reach out to me via mail, where I'll be dropping. Just give me a moment. I'll be giving you my mail ID. You can connect with me through it. Uh,
Maybe shall I ask you, is that available virtually?
yes.
Is that March HTA workshop is available virtually, or
Yes.
is it a in person? Oh, okay.
You can join virtually, where we'll try to accommodate things virtually also. Mostly they
Okay.
come in person because we give hands-on experience for this modeling and all. So mostly we don't encourage, but for people like who are really uh, away from the country, we try to make things easier for them.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if that goes, I'll definitely revert to you, Dr. Rashid.
Yeah.
So, people, thank you for joining us. And people, if you're comfortable, can you turn on your camera so that we can just have a quick capture of this session? Nobody? Okay, nobody is willing to turn on the cameras. Okay, then. Have a great weekend ahead. Oh, thank you. We'll just capture. Yeah. Sachin,
Thank
you can now please turn on your camera. You have just off, I guess. No, okay, then we'll leave. And thank you, Dr. Sajan, also for coordinating all these things. Thank you, Dr. Rashid. We'll meet you soon.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye.